Hey guys, it's Morgan. Welcome back to another weekly Shlog. Guys, big, giant news. Mr. Sheetsy Poo is back, as I announced this last week. There he is. He does exist. He doesn't look any different than he did before. We were hoping he was going to be all huge and like burly and tattooed up to his neck, but that did not happen. It's a bummer. We were really hoping for the National Guard training to turn him into a massive, crazy, like, you know, military guy. Didn't happen. Zach is back. Zach, how was your time away, other than being peaceful and not dealing with me?
Yeah, being away from here was nice, but there sucked.
What was your favorite part of training? If you have a favorite, it's got to be at least the least sucky part.
Probably getting to shoot.
Yeah. Nice. And what was the worst part?
Standing around for no reason. Just standing around waiting in the cold.
Obeying rules that make no sense. So, are you a proficient box mover now? Because we've decided that's what the National Guard actually does, is move boxes.
I got pretty good at basic. My box moving is atrophied since. I didn't get to do much in advanced training.
So yeah, we're pretty excited. And you're a wheeled vehicle mechanic now? As if he wasn't before. Last I checked, these all have wheels. But Zach is back. We're super excited to have him back in shop. Richie will be back in here at times too when we get super busy. He's gone back to his other day job, which is wrenching on trucks and tractors and things like that. He's got a diesel, like, mobile service truck. So it was awesome having him here. It helped us out a ton. Thank you, Richie. I really appreciate it. Like I said, we'll get you back in here to do some suspension stuff and all that when we get super duper busy, which we are getting. In fact, first on the lift is this RMZ 450. We're going to be doing fork seals. So yeah, if you want to join us for that, here we go. All right, guys, like I said, first on the lift is this 2015 RMZ 450. And we're going to do some fork seals. It's got the Showa. I think these are called the SFFs or TAC. I forget. I don't know. It's got an air fork. Arguably the least awesome off-road fork ever built. I think most people would agree. These are terrible off-road. I'm sure someone here on the internet is going to tell me that it is the best fork they ever rode. But people I know who really like motocross and really like these forks in general don't like them in the rocks. So yeah, let's get those things apart. All right, guys, chalk these things up. We're going to do the damping side first and the air side. They are different. The seal replacement is no different, obviously, from side to side. But the insides are very different. Let's see. All right, guys, going to try the clicker koozie out on a Showa. Actually, I don't think I have. Hey, look at that. It fits. That's awesome. These things, honestly, guys, have ended up being really cool. They're available on our website, highland-cycles.com. Would be here on the screen. Just go to anyway, I think it's parts, miscellaneous. Find it. They're 15 bucks. Now I had to raise the price because it makes more sense. Also, we sell them now to Intech. Intech's got them also available, so that's pretty cool. So if you're buying some moose balls or seals, SKF stuff, whatever from them, you can also pick up a clicker koozie from those guys too. Super rad. All right, we're gonna let these things drain, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull the air side apart too. Look at that too. That even works for the Schrader valves, so keep those protected as we flip this thing upside down to drain it. I think I showed this before, but this thing is super cool. It's from the Toolbox Widget people that help make, they make all these things that organize all my wrenches and screwdrivers and ratchets and sockets and They own this company too called Tool Hangers, and this one's really cool because it's magnet. So it can go anywhere with metal, and this is just galvanized steel, so it hooks to it. This is stainless, so it does not hook to that. But yeah, you can take these and move them around wherever. But yeah, great for standing forks up like that. I got 2 clicker cues down there, letting those things drain. Super cool. Also, lots of other little attachments like that to put tool in. For instance, I probably ought to like that. Use that for getting the seals out and things like that. You can leave it there. I also have them over here, which is really cool for putting bolts, things in while I'm working on a bike. Also tools that I know I'm going to use, and it just sticks to the lift. Really super cool. There's a link in the description if you want to buy some of that stuff. Also, all the toolbox widgets are there. You can see, makes it really nice to organize all kinds of stuff. Yeah, really happy with everything they've got. They've been very helpful here in the shop. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pull these things the rest of the way apart and get them clean because they are disgusting. All right, guys, got the damping chamber cartridge out. You got to have this special tool for sure on these. It's Motion Pro 08-0569 because this thing is really weird shaped, and I haven't found anything else that works there. Zach, did you become best friends with everybody in your platoon or whatever you call it? There you go, guys. It's the same setup as the SSS style. Same idea. We've got mid-speed valve attached to this rod. This is the compression valving with a check valve on this side, and the free piston. Look at that, a little bit of metal on there. That might be from the thing. So yeah, it's free piston on this side. Already has pre-drilled holes in it because they probably learned from KYB that they'll break if you don't have that. So yeah, gonna clean this up, get the forks super duper clean, and we'll refill this, bleed it. I'm not gonna show you guys all that. I've shown it on a whole bunch of different videos. But yeah, bleed that, put this all back together, then we'll do the seals, put it back together, and then I'll pull the air thing apart and show you that. All right, guys, got the air chamber out. This is an interesting system. If you haven't seen it before, it's not like the KTM where this is just an air spring and that's all there is to it. There's air in here, piston in here, and that's all you have to do. With this one, you have an inner chamber, which is what's inside here. Then you fill up the outer chamber, which is held by the seal that you're replacing, that we just replaced. And then you have a balance chamber here that helps balance all that out. I don't know. It's not the best system. I don't think anyone uses it anymore. I think that it's all long gone now. But yeah, it's not my favorite. It doesn't work that good. The whole valving side is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, it's just like an SSS, but these forks just don't seem to work in the rocks. I think they're fine, you know, okay, fine, not great for like moto, big hits, things like that, maybe desert, but not for anything else. All right, guys, got the Suzuki all done. Also put new brake pads on it because the front pads were completely soaked with oil. Quick note about that, guys. If you get oil on your brake pads, you can try cleaning them. You can scuff them back up. I've done all that stuff, especially like at a race or something like that. You got to get the thing done. Try to get through. I can tell you, it just doesn't work. Like maybe someone here can tell me of a way that you can actually get oil out of a brake pad. I've never figured it out. I've tried and tried and tried, and eventually you got to replace the pads. That's all there is to it. They still work, just not very well. So yeah, new pads, clean the rotor up. Everything's good to go. Super happy. that thing's ready to rock. Those forks are terrible, but they do work now, and they're not leaking oil, so that's good. Next is actually this KX 450 SR of our good friend Ken. He it's been great. He loves this bike, loves it to death, but it doesn't start, and he's been having a problem with that. It's been getting harder to start. I think it's maybe valves, but I also thought maybe fuel pump. I mean, I just heard it run. I don't know if you guys heard that. So let me show you the quick way to check against a fuel issue. No, I didn't. Yeah, you did steal it. So we're just gonna brake clean. Everybody always wonders what's in these cans. That's what it is. Now we're gonna hit this again. So it didn't light right up. I'm gonna sit you guys down and try that one more time. Be able to hold the throttle open. I think it's valves. So, yeah, let's pull it up and take a look. Guys, before we get in on this, I have a little mail time to cover real fast, so I'm pretty excited about it. Our good friends at Cross-Linked Components have sent me this, and I'm super excited about it because this is actually something I've dealt with and was meaning to get a hold of them about because I saw that they made them. They are fork guards. 3D printed fork guards to protect your lovely forks. I don't have my KTM here, but these fit my KTM. But honestly, in the first week of ownership, I crash in the rocks and scuffed up my forks. I was super bummed out. And that is what these things are here to protect. And the really cool thing is they don't weigh much. They're all 3D printed plastic, and obviously you can take them off really quickly to get them, clean things and all that. So yeah, guys, super stoked about installing these things. Yeah, I'm really excited. I also have a set of their swing arm guards coming for my beta, and if they make these for betas, I'm probably gonna do the same thing because again, I scratched those fork tubes already too. The hard enduro world is hard on parts, and these things are gonna be cool. Also, they're gonna make a great place to put your registration sticker too. So check them out, crosslinkcomponents.com, I believe. I'll put a link in the description. Get a set of these, get a set of their swing arms. Their swing arm guards are far and away the best swing arm guards in the business. People, I remember talking about them being like, oh, dude, you get a bunch of dirt behind. Dude, I've taken them off half a dozen times. Yeah, there's a little dirt behind me, clean them out. Anyway, these are cool. They just clip on, rad. Now it is time to work on the KX. I got the tank off. We're gonna get in there to the valves. Got this air filter, and Ken is usually really good about air filters, but this looks a little suspect here. Not my favorite setup of an air filter, although he did just put this in, so I hope his other ones have been better. But we're gonna find out. So there is definitely some dirt in there, not a ton, but you can see, watch this. Well, actually it's not bad. There's a little bit of dirt there, so it's actually not bad. There's a lot of oil there, so he's definitely been oiling it. All right. It's a little bit interesting because it doesn't look great in there, but it also doesn't look the worst. Like, it is a little bit black, but I wiped it expecting to see just like a film of dust come off, and it didn't do that. So, yeah, anyway, let's keep going. It's always an adventure at Highland Cycles. All right, guys, so we got the top off of the KX down in there. We got a 2000 feeler gauge. Roll it in here. That one goes just fine on that side. Got to be really careful of these things, easy to lose. And we're gonna come over here to this side, and this one does not go. I cannot get a 2000th in there. So, as suspected, left valve, intake valve is tight. I don't know why, honestly, guys. It does seem like a lot of times it's the left one, and I don't I have no explanation. Maybe someone on here can explain that, or maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe it just happens to be lucky that way. So let's try exhausts. A little tight on that. Let's see what this side is. All right, so the 6 is a little bit tight. 5 seems to fit just fine. So I'm gonna leave the exhaust there. Well, I don't know, I'll check. If I need to go up, the 6 does go though, and it's not I'm not having to open the valve. So it would be on the tight side if this is supposed to be 6 to 8, which usually they are. But it seems okay. So yeah, let's take the cam chain tensioner out, get that loose, pop this up. We're gonna use a zip tie. We're gonna go zip tie in here to the cam chain and cam gear so it doesn't skip time, so I don't have to retime it. Pop this cover off, this cam bridge off, reshim this. Like I said, 2000s won't fit, so we're gonna go down like 5 sizes to start with that, and then we'll have to remeasure it. All right, guys, I got everything all bolted back up, torqued to 8 foot-pounds, each one of those things. This is super important on these guys, because there's a bearing on this side, but not a bearing on this side. It just rides in the journal of the cam, or the cam rides in the journal of the head, and it's hard to anodize, but if you over torque that, you'll ruin the whole thing. So everything's good now. It actually had to go back down another 2 sizes to get this right. So this thing is getting really worn. I'm gonna let this customer know that the next time it gets hard to start, he's probably gonna need to do valves and the top end and everything. And it doesn't have that many hours on. I'm not sure, because I don't have a computer to plug into this, but it's pretty low hours. He rides a lot, but don't think it should be that bad so far. But honestly, guys, Kawasaki's are not my favorite dirt bikes. I don't feel like they're very durable anymore. They used to be great. Their 4-strokes have always been problematic in my opinion. So yeah, we're experiencing that, because I know the air filter didn't look great, but I think he's taken very, very good care of this thing. He usually oils it really, really good. So I don't know. I don't think that's the problem. I just have seen maybe it got a little bit of dirt by one time, but man, most bikes can handle that. But these Cowies can't. They're just super, super fragile. So anyway, gonna bolt it all back together, see if it starts up. All right, guys, got everything back on. It's not completely put back together. Air filter's not in or anything like that. I'm gonna do him a favor and oil that better. But let's see if she starts. Sweet, no problems. So yeah, there you guys go. It's kind of a classic issue with 4-strokes in general. Valves get tight, they get hard to start. People keep running them for as long as they can until they just won't start at all. And then hopefully that valve isn't burnt and bad. I'm gonna have to tell him to make sure he keeps an eye on his oil. So like, hopefully that valve didn't get burnt, like the seal didn't get burnt, and hopefully it's not burning oil now and all that stuff. But it probably means the coating's worn off that valve and it's gonna wear out again really quickly. So bummer, but at least we got it running for now. He can ride for a little bit at least, and then we'll, yeah, get him on the road. Guys, I gotta put this camera down, grab a different camera, and go back over to the 65. I'm gonna be filming some of that tonight, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys. That is the loaner bike that we're setting up for Weedy Racing. They're gonna have that set up for a bike that kids can just borrow and use if they've never raced before, and they'll have a bike and they'll have gear and all that cool stuff. So I've already rebuilt the bottom end, gonna put the top end on tonight, go through the suspension, just freshen up the rear and front suspension, just oil change and seals and stuff like that. Got new tires for it, new chain sprockets, and then it's gonna be ready to go. So make sure you stay tuned or subscribe. Anyway, check out those videos, you know what I mean? Yeah, and then we'll get on to the next job here on the Shlog. All right, guys, next on the lift is this lovely 2024 Husqvarna TE300. Super, super sweet bike. The owner is super, super, super sad because they managed to do that and that on the first ride. And it's a bummer. I'm sorry I'm laughing. The only reason I'm laughing is because I've done the same thing so many times. Brand new bike, brand new pipes. Anyway, pipes on 2-strokes is like the one thing about a 2-stroke that's like not the most awesome, right? Because because it's out there in the wind, it gets beat up, it gets bent, they're very expensive, all that stuff. But I like to just embrace that suck, and I just consider them little airbags for my bike. There's little airbags hanging out there protecting the frame and the motor from all the rocks and stuff like that, and that they're just consumables. We talked actually about a pipe guard and all that. I expressed my beliefs about that, which is that I don't like pipe guards. I'm not a big fan. I know that's going to spur a whole bunch of craziness here on the internet, and you know, there's two schools of thought. Some people like them, say they protect the thing, all that great. Then there's my side. I feel like, yes, it does protect against small hits and things like that. Probably that big one on the right side would have been protected. But when you hit something really hard, the energy has to go somewhere, and I've seen it break flanges and all kinds of stuff on bikes. So to me, they cause more damage than good, and I'd rather just blow out pipes. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna blow this pipe out and get it all straightened up for her. And then we're gonna install some handguards. We've got some Husqvarna branded Cycra really nice handguards, and get those on there for her and get it out of here. So let's yank this pipe off and see how straight we can get it.
Well, I don't like riding in no cage. No, I don't. I don't like how it feels. No, no, no. Go on and ride it on my casket
All right, got that all done. Turned out pretty good, really. I'm pretty happy with that. I got a little clearance between the frame and the pipe. And then this other side. Turned out, I think it looks good. Obviously it's not the same anymore. It's got marks on it. You can see it, but it's the right shape, so it's gonna make the right power and do the right thing. So yeah, it's all good to go. Now I'm supposed to be installing hand guards, but guys, let me show you something that a lot of people either forget about or don't know, or anyway, when you buy a new one of these Austrian motorcycles, they come with hand guards, these flags, and they're actually not terrible. I don't love them, but whatever. There's better stuff out there, but they're okay. Anyway, she has a set of full wraps that are, you know, obviously much stronger. But here's the problem. The way these handguards mount is this bolt that is the pivot bolt for the clutch, same with the brake, comes through and it threads into this piece that's part of the handguard. If I take this off, now the bolt is too long, it doesn't work. Anyway, same with the other side. So they give you, or they're supposed to give you, when you buy your new motorcycle, they're supposed to give you a set of bolts, different bolts, and little boots that go over this part to kind of, you know, protect that from dust and stuff. And people don't bring those, and I can't do this job. So, not a huge deal. I think she was going to do it herself, which she definitely can. But she was going to have us do it just because it was here. So can't do that, unfortunately, at least not the right way. I have done it in the past where I've cut this piece of plastic off and used it anyway. That's not the right way to do it, so I'm not going to do it, especially on this brand new bike. So yeah, anyway, all done with that. We'll get on to the next job. All right, guys, next on the lift is this YZ125X. We are jetting it and getting it ready for being here. It's got the stock stuff in it. So carburetor off. First thing, guys, on all these bikes these days, it seems like this is a new problem. It used to not be so bad, and maybe someone else will comment and tell me that it was always this bad, but I swear that float levels used to come way closer to what they should be than they do now. So you want to check float level on this thing. It's funny because the manual actually tells you to hold it upside down like this. That will not get you the right thing because there's a spring on the needle, and when you hold it straight up and down like this, this overcomes the spring. So if you set, you won't have any gas in the float bowl, because if you set it like this, Since the spring is pushed down, the level's off. So what you really need to do, and like I said, I actually just looked at the manual online. So what you need to do is tilt it like that till it stops. And then what we're going to do is we're going to measure from here. So from this surface to the top of here, and this says 6.5 is what we're looking for. That is actually pretty much right on the money. That is between 6 and 7 somewhere, so 6.5 is good enough. All right, let's see what we got for a main jet. Think about 125s, guy. Like 300s, 250s, trail bikes, you know, especially all these Euro bikes that used to have carburetors. I'd go down pretty far on the main because most guys aren't revving them out. They're just through the rocks or whatever. Maybe rev it out every now and then. But a 125 is getting hammered a lot if it's getting ridden correctly. So you don't want to go way far down. At 160 is one stock. It looked like a 180, but the top of the... Anyway, old eyes. For some reason, Australia comes in with a 162. Whatever. I think I'm going to go down to a 155, so not that far, just 2 steps down. I think that should get us really close. And the thing about jetting is it's a process, right? This is a new bike to me. The last 125X we jetted was a little bit older, and I think it actually came with different jetting in it. So, yeah, we're going to start with the 155, and then we'll check the pilot here next. All right, I changed my mind a little bit. Just because I'm looking through the jets that this gentleman brought in, I'm going to go with the 158. If we need to do it again, like I said, it's not a big deal. Main jets, or you don't have to take the whole carburetor off the bike. We can just get it, but... All right, looks like stock is a 65. Going to go with a 62. And the needle came with the C series needle. We're putting a D series, which is 1 leaner. We're putting in the number 2 position. So let's bolt all this back together, get it back on the bike, and take it for a rip. All right, guys, next job on the lift is a set of Dalsazio spheres and a shock. We are revalving with TBT spec for our good friend Adam Digby, who races the National Hare and Hound Series. He actually won the 30A class last year. He's had other people do work on his suspension, but he's been talking to a lot of NHHA folks and wants to try TBT, and I'm excited about it. We've got air forks. These are off a 23 450 XC. We've got air forks on here, so we're going to have to take the lugs off and all that good stuff. I'm not going to bring you in deep into this thing because I've already done a video on that. But yeah, when we get to cool, interesting parts, I'll show you. I'm super excited because I really do think that these bladder style cartridges are the best thing going. The KYB stuff is very, very, very good. I just think this is one level better. I like the bladder, I like the tunability, I like the parts that are so, so nice on these things. It's just the anodizing, the coatings are just nicer. So yeah, let's get after it. All right, guys, we got Adam's suspension all done. Sorry I didn't film any more of that. I was in, well, not a hurry, but just head down, getting it done because I knew he was coming today to pick it up. He's heading tomorrow to Utah to race the next round of the National Hare and Hound. So didn't want any issues. Wanted to make sure if there was a problem, I could try to figure it out beforehand. I actually did have a little issue, and I'll just tell you guys about it. When you're bleeding the shock, you should be able to push the piston through the oil just fine, drag it back through the oil just fine, get bubbles out like that before you flip it over to bleed it with a bleed cup or a machine or whatever. And man, this thing was like not going through the oil. It was really, really, I'm like, what the heck? So I'd already backed all the clickers out, took it back out, looked inside the holes, the bleed holes on the side, and the needle was all the way up. I'm like, what the? And in the long run, I had to heat it up and then take a little, a real skinny Allen, put it in there and just tap, 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 and get that thing to free up and then spray a bunch of penetrating lube in there. So I don't know what happened. It's weird because the bike's not that old, doesn't have that many hours on it. But he did have a huge crash not too long ago. And then after that, the bike felt really weird. So I don't know how that would happen. Maybe someone here can comment below if they've had something like that happen. It was a hell of a thing, but we got it working good. So that was awesome. Also, update on the YZ125 jetting. That jetting turned out spot on. Fired up, runs good, crisp, clean, ready to rock and roll. I don't remember what the jetting was, but it's on the video before. So if you got one of those and you live at this elevation, try that. I think it works pretty good. All right, guys, that's the end of the week, the end of the Shlog. Whoa, we got some work to do. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys, if you like watching these shop videos where I show you all kinds of cool stuff. We have a ton of work to do. Zach is back, as I said. So happy to have him back. We're missing Richie already, but we'll get him back in here for part-time stuff. And yeah, I love this shop. I love motorcycles. I love you guys. I hope that what we're doing here at Highland Cycles is inspiring you guys to work on, but more importantly, get out and ride your dirt bikes!